I mean, back then, I guess it was a struggle. It was like, hey, Lord, I really want this. Why aren't you giving it to me? I'm ready. But now it's like I'm really just following the Lord's plan. And like again, because my timeline is broke, so it's like there's no reason trying to make another timeline. Like it's like I'm on the Lord's time. I trust Him. I mean, I know that He'll provide. I mean, that's my favorite song all year, y'all. The Lord will provide.
Oh, same.
That's song of the
Like
year for
actually,
sure,
I love that song,
for
bro.
sure. But just trusting in Him. And has it been? I mean, definitely, I guess discouraging at times. But then again, I have to also remind myself, is like I'm telling the Lord that I'm ready, but am I?
Hey, to whoever may need this nugget of encouragement, things will be alright, so quit your worrying. I get it, the odds can stack back against the wall, but even consider it such, know you'll stand tall. Sat and watch from the sidelines one too many times. Wicked games to play, make me wanna lose my mind. Found solitude, knowing it'll be over soon. Ever need a boost, count on me for the 1-2. Trouble don't last when the tough get going.
Wally.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to a Jar of Life podcast. We're happy to be back this week. Hey, bro,
I put 3 up at first.
you're distracting me.
You're the podcast.
Today, I'm your host, Jonah Ross. This is my co-host, Chris Anderson, and our guest for today, Derrion Parrish. Let's go.
Appreciate you.
Otherwise known as DP, otherwise known as the GOAT on keys. So today we're just going to be kind of with a guest. We're going to kind of be asking Derrion some questions, and we're just going to be having a little conversation. And it's just some things we want to ask him about worship. You go around leading worship all the time. I swear, like every day, everywhere, it seems like. And so we got some good questions for you. But I want to start off with this, and this is really funny. Chris pointed this out, and I was like, "Oh, that would be great to ask him." Where'd the jamming around with your head come from? Like on stage, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
put the camera on me real quick.
Yeah.
Where's the camera? Which camera is it? Which camera is it?
It's gonna be that one.
It's gonna be this one.
No, this one.
This
It's
one?
probably gonna be that one.
Can he move it to me?
He's about to. I think he's getting there. Come on, Mr. Producer.
Like,
You got it. Oh.
Oh.
Yep.
Awkward. Okay, sorry.
All right.
Do.
Anyways,
Mhm.
nah, because like
Yeah.
I'll be leading with you,
Yeah.
right? I'll be playing drum set, and like and everybody sees it too. Chris will look, and like I remember the first time he saw it, he was like, "Bro, Derrion up there like getting it,
Yeah.
like because you over there, you like,
Yeah.
and you go, you do the little
Mhm,
shake thing.
mhm.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know, I think growing up, like even on the bus, 'cause I went to school bus, all throughout
Yeah.
high school, and even when I was listening to music, like the head was always going. So like I don't know, I can't listen to music and not move. Like it just feels unnatural. Even when I
Yeah.
make my piano vid, sometimes I look at it, I'm like, my head was moving a lot, But and again, like it's kind of become the thing. It's just like it's not even something I'm like necessarily like trying to do or just
Yeah.
like getting my. It's just something I'm just do naturally. But at the same time, as you said, I've been able to like enable it as like a way to give hints and like nods or like shake off at the same time.
Yeah.
Of like, hey, I'm liking what you're doing, or like, hey, what's going on?
Not
in a
gonna lie,
sense,
sometimes I get confused.
Yeah, it's tough because sometimes it's always because you get too. I'm also knowledgeable about what's going on, so
Yeah.
you don't make it too obvious, but you also want to
Yeah.
give like the eye or something,
Yeah.
So, but you
Nah,
said people
I
that play
think
with me kind of know.
Now
Yeah,
I know.
they
I've been
understand.
playing with you
Yeah.
for long enough. That
You did.
now I
You
know.
feel it. You feel
I
it.
know the difference between the
Mhm.
that was good,
Yeah.
that was good, Jonah, and then the I don't know about that one,
Right,
bro.
right.
Like, yeah. Anyways,
little learning
you
curve.
got it on Chris. Did you already do it? Did he
I was
turn
doing it the whole time. It was
Oh my god! Oh man, that is hilarious.
Like I'm a baseball manager or something like that. No.
Oh
No.
no!
Stop that.
That may be exaggerated
good.
a little bit, but you definitely do it. I love it.
It's
I'm
funny.
not saying
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
like
you're good.
it, bro. I love
He
it.
said people talk about it. Again, it's not something I'm necessarily doing just for people. It's literally just something I always know with music.
Yeah, and see the thing
But
is,
it's like even when people talk about it, I'm like I can't help it. I even get on myself about it. Like watching videos,
Yeah.
but it's funny.
You be like talking to yourself and you're doing like, yeah.
It's
I hope he be worshiping.
Really? Again,
Okay.
it's just be happening, and I guess more too when I'm able to like fully go. Like if everything's going well, is when it's really going. Because like then if I'm not distracted by something going wrong or like oh what the words am I singing like
I think
what's the
Thursday
next
night
lyric?
went really well.
Yeah, it did go well. It was hitting. I mean, you play worthy of it all, basically like the track, like, and you didn't do. You do that thing in sound check again. I say you just be throwing stuff at the wall, and then you just you turn it on. You lock in for the service.
I do.
I was like, dang, J Ross playing it.
Yeah,
so like the track.
So and here's the other thing about that. The whole like you thinking while you playing. Like on a serious note. So when for me personally, and I've actually had this conversation with you before.
When you close your eyes.
When I'm behind a drum set, like that is like my purest form of worship. I guess you could say. Like if I'm in the audience and I'm singing and I'm praising, I'm lifting my hands. Like yes, I still feel the Spirit. Yes, and I'm still gonna sing my heart out. But when I'm behind a drum set, it's just different. I'm using that gift that God gave me, and I'm using it to the best of my ability. And sometimes I don't even gotta be thinking about what I'm playing. It's just I'm just playing. And like so, I think we've had this conversation before where you and you kind of agreed. You're like. You know, sometimes you're just playing like, yeah, you got to think about the right thing to play, but sometimes it's just like, it's just flowing.
Just going, right.
You know? So I did want to point that out. But yeah, no, the whole, and I've gotten to where, you know, you're kind of rubbing off on me in that way. It's like, I already move around a good bit when I play drum set, but like with you over there doing the, and then especially like on Thursday night, because it was going so well, and you kept looking over at me like, I approved.
Oh my God,
it made me excited. It made me so excited. I was like, and so then I was over here like,
oh, you're just like,
I was bopping, dude. I was.
And it was fun to kind of be back this week, you know, because I haven't been able to see y'all for almost I guess a year now since I got moved into that front spot. So it was kind of cool to be back in the back spot where I'm able to see everybody and get to interact with y'all that way. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
It had been a minute since because I haven't been able to see y'all. So like I've had like I could look over my shoulder, but again, you gotta be knowledgeable of like what's happening in the service. You don't be a distraction. Like why is he looking over his shoulder all the time? So it was cool to kind of be like.
I know what he's talking about, but I don't understand. I can't relate. So I'm letting y'all kind of.
So basically, so when he's at the front, it's hard for him
to
turn
around and be like, yeah, they look great.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
Like, so what it's been for the past like months. I mean, it's been like this for months since whenever you moved up front. Anytime he did look at me, it was a
right, exactly.
But like last night or Thursday night, it was like it was just kind of looking over and kind of
chilling back. Exactly.
And I was like, I felt it too. I liked
it. I liked
you being back there. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
And you know, Andrew was feeling it that night too.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So, you know, shout out to the worship team from Thursday night.
That was
man.
fun. And second there.
Yeah.
What was the time?
Anyways, so I know you got some questions, kind of for us two both. I know originally they were for just Derrion, but we were talking about it, and really I could probably answer some of them too because we're both up there a lot. So.
Alrighty.
Have at it.
Question number uno. Do you ever get nervous about singing on stage or performing?
Can I say something?
Oh, yeah, do your thing.
I wouldn't use the word performing, because we're not performing. We are leading. There's
so first time verbiage.
Sorry.
Not like
well,
acting,
no. I used to say that.
Yeah.
And then somebody caught me on it. They're like, we're not getting up there to perform for people. You know, and I think that's an important thing to establish. That's the only reason I'm saying that. We're not getting up there to perform for people. We're getting up there to let the Spirit lead through us. So I just wanted to establish that. But anyways, so you can have at that question if you want to.
First off, like, full holy, like, Derrion is not an extroverted person. So me, like, keys, I love keys. I'll do that any day of the week. The whole singing part is not something that comes naturally to me or want to be in the front part. So that definitely took some time of, like, getting comfortable in that sense and, like, actually, you know, I guess letting my voice be heard and, you know, being out. So that part, I mean, that's been recent. Maybe, like, a couple of years where I really started kind of, like, leading songs and, like, you know, doing backup and stuff. But, Really, before every I'm my biggest critic in a sense. That's what, a lot of people know. I get away before like the start of a service or something like that. I just kind of get to myself because for me, I just want to go over all the songs in my head. Like what are these songs saying? What are they professing? And kind of getting into that mode. But as far as like nervousness, I mean, there's always kind of like a little jingle. Even for basketball, like I was nervous in basketball until I scored for my first bucket, and then I would be like good in a game. Most of the time that happened pretty early, so I'd be kind of in the flow. But kind of keys is the same way of like once I start playing, it's like okay, cool, we know what we're doing. But
that may be why like how you were saying like rehearsal. You're kind of sometimes over there like Jonah, what you doing? But then I'll lock in for service,
right.
Can we just acknowledge that he just like kind of slightly threw in the fact that he's an absolute baller? Where he was like,
Oh,
I
he's
usually
a
get my
baller.
first bucket pretty early, and then I'm just good.
I don't hoop anymore, y'all. I'm retired. But I mean, that's what happened. Because I mean, I would be like, dang, how's it gonna go? And then you like that first layup or whatever. You're like, okay, all right, we're like that. We do this,
Yeah.
But for me, the nervousness part or like people in the room, that's what it kind of discourages me when people are like, oh, there's so many people here. Because like first off, again, we're in a different type of thing. It's not even about that. It's about the ministry. It's about just worshiping for the Lord. So that should be the same regardless of if you're in your room by yourself or if there's 1,000 people out there. So that part doesn't really affect me. And I mean, I haven't played a stadium yet, so maybe that might hit. I don't know what's gonna happen. You can't tell yourself until you're in that moment.
What's the most people you've ever played in front of?
I don't know. Oh yeah, I do. I guess about 600 because the station opened up their sanctuary this past year. They do like 600.
Okay. Have you ever played at GDL on Sunday morning?
I have not.
You haven't?
I've only been to one service at GDL, and I was on staff for a semester over there. But I've only been to one Sunday service.
Wow.
That just happened this summer. But
okay.
Yeah, so that's about as many people I played for. But again, the number part does it first off too, because in my head you just trick it. I can't see them anyway. So like when you're on stage, you really only see the first 2-3 rows anyway. So that's why the number part doesn't get to me as much because it's like I don't know.
It's kind of like blinded.
Right, like that's the same as like a room of 15 people because I can't see them and everything. So it's cool to know I'm out there. I guess it's more of a retrospect thing to kind of look back on, but definitely on service day going into the service, I don't like to think about that because again, it's not even about that for us. It's just worship, leading,
Yeah,
that makes
expressing.
sense. I didn't even think about that. Like now that I think about it, when I'm up on stage, like inviting people to beat ups, like I can't see very well into the back.
lights are bright up there,
and I'm tall, so it's like the lights are like even more in my face.
And see, I think the other thing about it is like, well, and I think that would kind of goes into the difference of how you were sitting, or you were standing up front, but this week you got to be kind of more back. I know from where I'm standing, I can basically only see the first row. Basically, well, not standing, sitting, but where I'm playing at, like I can basically only see the first row, and even that, I mean, they got the subs and the speakers right on the front of the stage, and where I'm angled at, like. Like, I can barely see anybody, and then I got all of y'all in front of me, and so like I'm kind of back there in my own little world,
right?
And so that's interesting to hear from your point of view, because
and plus if y'all like I don't know how closely y'all pay attention to a lot of times, but a lot of times my eyes just be closed anyway. So like I don't know regardless, right?
I do the same thing. I do the same thing. I'll close my eyes, and people are like, how do you do that with your eyes closed? And I'm like, well,
feeling thing.
It's a feeling thing, and then also when you've been doing it for so long, it's muscle memory.
If y'all watch the movie Soul, and when he goes into that zone, or when everybody goes into that zone about the thing they're passionate about, that's really what it is.
Yeah,
it's a great visualization of what's happening.
It really is. Yeah.
What's type?
Have you ever seen the movie?
No.
Soul?
No.
It's
it's Pixar, yeah.
Pixar, right? It's Pixar, right?
Like made by an Inside Out kind of deal.
Yeah. It's like a Pixar movie. It's really good. It's about like jazz, blues.
I don't watch kids movies.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
There's good lessons in them.
Yeah.
But,
it's kind of lame not to watch movies. Like, no, just saying.
All right, whatever. Yeah, next question. Do you have certain foods you eat before and certain you don't, or drinks?
I'm kind of typical to like singers. So like if I know I'm singing or like mostly if I'm leading, because background I really don't think about it as much. But if I'm leading a song, I won't eat before. Like I'll just drink water or something like that. If I'm just playing keys, I'm gonna eat everything. Like if they got a green room and they got a place, I'm finna eat up. Right? Like it don't matter.
Me every time.
If I burp or something on keys and I'm not leading a song, whatever.
You've seen how many times I'll come in with my dinner and just eat it while I'm playing.
Right.
Like during rehearsal, like I'll eat, so you know how like drum set, I swear half the time, especially on slower songs, doesn't come in until like the second verse, after the first verse and the pre-chorus and the chorus, and and it's just like I'll be back there snacking
Oh,
on
yeah.
my dinner. I can't tell you how many times and I actually hate doing this. This is one of my pet peeves. Yet I still do it sometimes. I'll put I'll make sure to put a napkin under it, but I'll put whatever I'm eating on top of the snare, and that's my little tabletop.
That's wild. And the oil's getting to the snare skin.
So yes, exactly.
Amazing.
That's why I put a napkin there, and,
Yeah.
and I will say I don't do it a lot, but I've
Mhm.
definitely done it before, and yeah.
I was known to keep some gummy clusters on me at all times. I've definitely got a little slack in that, but for a period, that was something I always had on me at a
Really?
rehearsal or at a service or
Gummy
something.
clusters?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Like,
is that just a favorite snack or?
it kind of got up there. Really, I mean, as gummy clusters really dominated the world, it just shot up. And I mean, I won't say addicted, but it had a stronghold on me.
Hmm.
Still do if I eat them here and there, but it's just I don't eat too much
Yeah.
candy anymore.
Yeah.
Thank God our God breaks addictions, right?
Right. Praise the Lord.
Do you ever get scared you're gonna yawn or cough while trying to sing?
Ooh.
It's not my thing. My thing is mine is lyrics. Like it's
Oh
funny
my
because even
gosh.
before, like even leading songs, people knew that about me. Like my friends knew that about me. I can tell you like play the song, melody cool. I can tell you where you're supposed to be at. Boom. But I'm like, what are these words? In some instances where we're having to like learn a song the week of, I'll learn the music for it. I'll know all the music for it. Cool. But I'm like, I don't know what this song is saying. Like sometimes I'll be like, I hope this is about Jesus. Let me go back and research what's happening here. But so yeah,
I hope it's about
coughing.
Jesus,
Right,
right?
exactly. I hope it's not crazy. You know that I'm gonna be like, dang, I don't know if that's spiritual.
Yeah.
You know, but nah, coughing or yawning hasn't necessarily been a thing. 'Cause you can kind of like play it off. My mind is just like, dang, I hope I know this song lyrics wise.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first started leading, that was a big like my roommate. I would tell you like I would come home if I had to like sing at a service and just like lay on the couch and like my brain would be just exhausted because it was just like I'm just thinking about it over and over again too. Because you don't want to mess up, but it would be that point I would mentally drain myself throughout the day trying to remember the lyrics and everything. Thankfully, I'm much better at it now. I'm good at studying songs, knowing the music part and the lyrics. But that would be probably one of the bigger struggles for me.
I would be so nervous.
Yeah.
About like remembering. I never have to worry about that.
Right.
All I gotta do is play.
Right.
Like, oh man,
It's
I
different.
can imagine.
It's different.
One, it's different, especially when you don't have like when you don't have the screen in the
Or the
back.
confidence monitor.
Yeah, the confidence
no,
monitor.
see, that
you know.
I think I know
what
what you're
those?
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, like the TV up in the back with the lyrics.
Yeah.
But another secret, guys. So I had trust issues. So that iPad, if I'm leading the song, the lyrics are also on the iPad right there.
I've seen you do
Oh
that.
yeah. I
Which is
will.
smart. I mean,
I will
like,
scroll.
You should be doing that.
Exactly. I mean, hey,
Yeah.
you should learn the music and learn the song first of all. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Don't have a crutch.
Playing the
But I'm a scroll sometime. If that confidence monitor go out or something, I'm gonna have my
Yeah.
backup ready. Exactly. I try to sit it up, but it be flat. I can look over.
He
You know
said,
what
I
I mean?
got two confidence monitors.
Exactly. Because I'm a first line type of dude. It's usually that first line of like a verse or a chorus where I'm like, what is it? Then you can kind of get into it. But like if I don't,
Okay.
if I'm not fed that first line, sometimes I'm like, what
I'm
is
sorry.
this?
I can only imagine you having to like scroll midway through the song.
Actually,
I try to keep it up.
I know.
As
but,
I'm
like, I guess
going.
like
Be funny.
I won't bow to idol. Oh wait.
well,
I'll
some
stand
people,
strong.
right.
some people have that like
The foot thing?
Yeah, the little foot thing. There's like
Mhm.
this little black pedal you can
Mhm.
plug into the iPad,
And it'll,
and if you use a certain app, you press the pedal and it turns the page for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
oh, that's so cool.
I know.
the station also has it where like we don't because I usually make my own notes for songs and everything, but they play it off. There's a thing in Planning Center called like Songbook. And once he starts the service, the tracks are going, but your iPads are also synced with the track. So it's following down with you. So like
What?
it has the number chart. So I'm still able to see like what, chorus would be played over what word and everything, but it's also following with the
Okay,
words in
that's-
itself per
I've never
song.
heard
So,
of
oh
that.
yeah. So it's like synced all the way
That's
through.
cool.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's insane.
The
tools.
The funny thing is about the whole lyric thing is like I rely on lyrics
Mm-hmm.
to know where I'm at in a song.
Mm.
Because
different.
sometimes, like, I can hear the track, in
Mhm.
our ears, the click says
Mhm.
stuff like it'll be like verse 1,
Mhm.
2, ready, go.
Mhm.
But sometimes I'm like, oh, wait, is verse 1, is it this?
Yeah.
Is verse 2 this? Is bridge 1 this? So I listen for the
Yeah.
lyrics.
I mean, and like
A
we were talking about
lot
on
of
Thursday,
times.
the way Bless God was, I was like, wait for that, like, Bless God because he holds
Exactly,
the victory
and when
before you do the
said
build.
that,
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
But it's
So in those
because I
instances-
rely on the lyrics. Because and so honestly, I guess I know the lyrics to songs pretty well now
Mhm.
because I legitimately rely on lyrics
Mhm.
very heavily because on Sunday mornings, at my home church, we don't use tracks half the time.
Mhm.
So
You gotta go.
I rely on those lyrics.
Yeah.
That's my count in for the verse or whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
Hey, we should know the songs, guys. I mean, we should know the songs. And I'm again not saying it's good to don't be like us. Learn the songs.
Yeah.
But
Be
it's good
better.
to have a tool, right?
Be better, do better.
I'm saying.
All right, one more like kind of goofy question. Do you ever get an itch up there that you just can't scratch?
Not necessarily.
Like you just like you have an itch on your arm or something, and you can't stop playing to itch your arm, or
Mine is like I put my phone in do not disturb mode, and if I forget and somebody calls me during the service and my wrist is like vibrating, that'll bother me because I'm like, stop calling me, or like a text message notification or something like that. So that'll get me, but I forget to put it on do not disturb. I never had an itch. You got an itch?
Yes, absolutely. If you ever see me playing with one arm, so if I have an itch, most of the time I get an itch like right here.
oh my goodness.
And I cannot
yeah.
I cannot go without scratching it.
Yeah.
And if it's during a big part, I'm like doing this or something, and it sucks because like you gotta have the drums in the big part.
Like you get a
Yeah.
But sometimes I can get away with I'll put my left stick under my arm like this, and I'll be playing like this,
That's smooth.
and but I'll have to do it really fast. Like I'll be like,
takes talent.
and
See,
then
I did have one recently thinking about it. It was a couple months ago on a Wednesday night. I was singing and playing the keys, and something got in my eye, and I couldn't like get it out. My tear ducts wasn't doing it. So like at the end of the third song, when the preacher's coming up, I'm like crying.
everybody was probably like, "This man really getting into it today, man. The spirit is moving in this man."
I'm saying, I ain't trying to be manipulative like that, but I'm telling you, like, just tears are on my face, and then like, that he must have been it, you know.
So
Yeah.
like, do you ever get sweat and it's like just on your nose or something, and you're like having to play?
That's the
that
drummer thing. I don't sweat too much on keys.
Do what?
I don't sweat too much on keys.
I mean, it's easy to sweat when playing drums,
Right,
Because
right.
you're
Yeah.
using
Right.
your whole daggone body,
Mhm.
and I will say most of the time they have that sanctuary freezing at GW,
Right.
so I never really have a problem with it there. But I mean, yes, there are other times, and when I do play set, and if I do sweat while I'm playing drum set, then most of the time it's not my face. Most of the time it's my it'll be like my hands will get sweaty, and for holding sticks, it sucks. It is bad, and so yeah.
Flinging sticks around.
Yeah, it's like they're banging and it's like
There was this one more. There was one Sunday morning I was playing, and it wasn't because I was sweaty, but I was doing a fill, and so I was going around, and I play on a little electric set on Sunday morning, and so every drum head is that big, and so I'm having to play on these little drum heads, and I miss, and I go in between the two, and normally if I do that, I can come back up and get back in. You got stuck in between them,
Drum grabbed
and
it.
so when I went back up with it. It kind of like
drum?
came out of my hand like that, and I threw it forward, front stage.
Yeah.
Like So keys right here, guitar right here. I'm back here. The drumstick ends up here.
Yeah.
And apparently only like the front row noticed.
Interesting.
But
So you would have got one of
also
those
the
looks from
stage
Derrion
is
at the point.
hardwood.
Right. Bouncing.
And so that stick bouncing on the floor is loud. Luckily, it was during a loud part of the song, so nobody really heard it that bad. But I was so embarrassed. I was like, "There's no way I just did."
Do y'all have like extra drumsticks like beside you?
Oh shoot! You should see my stick bag. I have about 9 pairs of sticks in my stick bag because,
Right.
you should.
But you're gonna expect it. Like on an electric kit,
Should
your
always be
stick's not
prepared.
gonna break. But like on an acoustic set, your stick can break at some weird angle. You have to grab another stick.
Oh yeah,
real quick,
I've broken a stick several times at sub, and I'll have to put it down, grab a new pair of sticks, and actually, so like I have a stick bag that has like hooks on the basically like a bungee cord going through it, and I'll hook it on the floor tom to my right, and I'll have it turned just a little bit to where it's really easy to access the sticks. But a lot of drummers will actually have this little circular thing, like tube, that they put an extra drumstick in over here on the hi-hat where it's a lot easier to grab if you were to drop. I need to invest in one of those.
Interesting.
But
Never heard of that.
yeah, Gardendale has it
On
in
Sundays.
the sanctuary. And so every time I played there on Sundays, actually the first couple times I didn't realize it was there, and then the most recent time I played, I was like, oh, that's cool.
Get
I
back
like
instead.
that.
Yeah.
Let me
Get one of
I'm
those.
gonna use that.
Right.
So
All right.
anyway,
I got some more serious questions. You can still
More
answer
serious.
this first one,
Tier
but
2
they'll
questions.
start getting directed towards Derrion. Yeah. We're getting serious now, boys. As a leader on stage, having to set the example, do you feel obligated to hold yourself to an even higher standard than others?
For sure. Not necessarily be like holier than thou or in a sense,
No.
but understandably knowing, where I'm at, being on that stage and having that opportunity, and you don't want to be a stumbling block, anyway, but just knowing that, hey, some people might look up to you, or like me on Wednesday nights, I got 80, 90 kids looking up to me, and it's like knowing, okay, cool, let me set the example for it. And again, it's not something I necessarily have to. I can just continue to live my life, but it's just a responsibility that I take and understand what it is and what comes with it. So I mean, if that gets with like friends going out certain places, or just, I mean, I love music. Like I love music, a lot. But it's just like posting certain songs and everything. I'm always trying to keep in count of like, hey, somebody might be looking at me. I don't want this to go the wrong way. You know what I mean?
Like certain secular music you can't like listen to or something like that.
Mhm,
I feel like that's everybody,
Yeah.
but
I feel like when you see somebody on stage, you automatically hold them to a higher standard.
Right.
Is that fair?
Not
Not
necessarily.
necessarily.
Yeah, better than you.
But
okay. I think that
I
I mean,
wouldn't-
if
I
you're gonna
wouldn't
get up,
say-
if you're gonna get up on stage in a leadership position, you gotta be ready to be a leader.
Well,
but
and I agree, but I think every Christian should be held to that high of a standard. I think every Christian should be held to the same standard.
I agree, but
basically.
kind of like how we talked about last week with leadership.
Yeah.
It's a crazy podcast. You should check that out. Anyways, just like the things that it says in, was it 2 Timothy,
No, it's
First Timothy?
It's First
Timothy
Timothy
2 something.
2. It's
It
chapter
lists off
2,
a-
3, and 4.
it
All
lists off a
have
bunch
lot
of things
leadership
that
qualities,
that you have to have as a leader to be in a leadership role, that not that other people shouldn't have them, but
Mm-hmm.
that they're not as held to such a standard
Mhm.
as much, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah. So what I was saying though
Mhm.
is just like, we're automatically held to a higher standard when we're up on stage,
Mhm.
and a lot of times you don't realize that,
Mhm.
and so because people see you on stage, when they see you off stage,
Mhm.
they expect you to basically be acting the same as you would be on stage.
Mhm.
So like me and Derrion, we can't go lead, worship
Mhm.
on a every Thursday night, and then when it's not a Thursday, be going out and partying and doing all that. I know that's extreme. That's an extreme example, but because I personally don't think anybody should be.
If someone
doing that as a
sees you,
Christian,
if
but-
someone sees you on stage, sees what you're about or what you're showing on a Thursday, right? But then
Mhm.
they see you out, extreme example, at the club or party
Mhm.
Yeah.
on a Monday, which first off they shouldn't be there. But if they saw you there,
Right.
or they saw you doing something wrong, or if they
Character
saw you even
witness.
just treating
Mhm.
somebody wrong, they're gonna invalidate
Right,
what you do on
right,
stage. in
exactly.
their head.
I was gonna say the
Mhm.
the validity of your leadership, and not just your leadership,
Mhm.
but the church's leadership
Mhm.
is at risk.
Mhm.
And so that's why it's really important for us to get up there and play, and then when we're off, we continue to lead in the manner that we lead on stage.
Right.
That is extremely important. And I mean,
Mhm.
I know Derrion does it. I know
Try my best. Yeah.
I try my best.
Mhm.
I'm not saying it can be hard, but
Mhm.
sometimes it is like kind of a lot, because
Mhm.
people will say stuff like, "Oh, well, I saw him. He goes to this church and he leads worship there, but I saw him out doing this, or I heard him say this."
Mhm.
And then you're like, "Crap, that's my fault. That the validity of my leadership and just the church in general is at stake
Mhm.
because of what I said or what I did."
Mhm.
And so you got to be real careful of that.
So, not yesterday, Thursday, before sub, so better about not just saying names. MC
We've
at,
already name dropped several times.
now in this.
Yes.
Who have I said?
Today?
Not you, us.
What'd I say?
Okay.
Oh, the churches?
No,
No. We're trying not to name drop because
Who do
you're
we name
not
drop?
necessarily supposed to.
Right. It's not necessarily typical.
But-
Who do we name drop?
I don't think we have anyone this time.
Oh, we did. I said that.
Yeah.
He's a good person.
When we were talking about, we literally named out the whole worship team. So-
Oh my god.
That first name
Don't
basis.
notice that. I did.
Yeah, we did.
And
And,
I
they
was
live at this
oh, well.
address.
So I guess I can.
Bleep,
I'll
Right.
I'll be bleeping out a lot of names this one.
That's
so you
funny.
can say the name.
Yeah, we
I'll
did.
just bleep it out. So
Point blank.
if you want to say somebody's
funny.
name, that's fine. I'll bleep it out.
Okay. Anyways, had texted me
Yeah.
and he was like, "Hey, can you be here at this time?" Which was basically just right when I got off work. You know, some people need some help moving some stuff because out of a truck. And I was like, "Yeah, sure." In my head, I was thinking pickup truck, take me like 20 minutes. I get to go home, you know, rest a little bit before going to sub, right? So I get there at about 3:05, 3:10. The truck gets there at 3:30. It's a moving truck.
It's the Christmas
I'm
trees.
like, "Oh my gosh, it's a whole moving truck." And,
What was it?
some people had moved from Nevada
Dang.
to Alabama.
Oh,
Yes, and they'd retired. They're some older people, and they like all their stuff, like a whole house worth of stuff in the back of that moving truck. And I was like, I'm not gonna make it to sub tonight. That is crazy. And
oh man.
I was like, what did you get me into? You know. So, but I was there and helping them, and then thank the Lord, showed up, youth
Yeah.
pastor. And he had his. You gotta bleep all these names.
Yeah,
and he had his.
You're
You could've
gonna
just
hear
let-
the.
Yeah.
If people are gonna be listening to the podcast, all they're gonna hear the whole time, they're gonna be thinking we're cussing. Or something. You're just gonna hear bleep, blah, 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 bleep, 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 bleep.
So, yeah, and his two sons came and they helped out
Oh.
tremendously. But we all got that whole moving truck unloaded in like 2.5 hours, and we got them all put in. You know, everything
Dang.
put up. And
Hey, that's impressive.
thank you. It was over. They said just the boxes alone, not counting mattresses, beds, like all the open stuff was like 170 boxes.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So
Daggone.
me and they were moving. You
Yeah.
know, me and those guys were
Yeah.
moving. So shout out to them. But after we were done, they were like, you know, can we pay you? And Caleb was like, no, man, like this is all the love of Christ, you know. And I was like, yeah, it's all, you know, it's all the love of Jesus. And they're like, well, you're like from GFPC or whatever. And they're like, yeah, you know, if you want to pay whatever, you know, donate to GFPC. And they were like, yeah, like we'll donate, like, you know, like that is so thankful. And so it was like just going there and doing that and like being a leader, and it really showed the church in like a good light, and it showed the love of Christ. And it was honestly more satisfactory to not get paid for a job and just doing it, you know, just to praise Jesus' name.
Absolutely.
And if that helped them, like, I don't know if they're Christ followers or not, but like, let's say that 90-year-old wasn't, and then he became one. I'm not saying that happened, but what if it happened? You know, that
awesome.
means so much more than like getting, you know, a monetary pay.
Absolutely.
Right.
I completely agree. I love just like helping people out.
Yeah,
I don't know why. Like, I mean, I think it's because, you know, I know Jesus and I know what the love of Christ is. And like when you're actually doing something good and for Christ, like it's fulfilling. And, you know, that kind of, which this is a whole nother podcast episode, but that kind of gets into like the whole materialism and what true fulfillment is. But yeah.
I was like a good example instead of a bad example, you know, like
Yeah.
what you do matters. So like,
Absolutely.
if I was to ever be speaking on a stage where they were there, they would probably take what I said into like much more into higher account than if if I like, you know, done it for the money, you know?
Yeah.
You're right.
And I will say this. I think kind of has a way of I'm not.
It gets on to us, but just
Do what?
so you get on to us for it.
Yeah. Well, I'll just. Again, we'll bleep the names out. It's fine.
Yeah.
So for sub on Thursday nights, like I didn't start. You know, it took me a while to actually start playing set after going there.
Yeah.
And you know, I've been playing set for years, and I
Right.
was over here thinking like, why won't you not let me up there? Like, why can I not? And it wasn't they like just wouldn't let me. But I had asked if I could join the rotation and everything, and he told me, hey, you just started coming here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I asked him probably within 4 or 5 weeks of going to sub. I was like, hey, do y'all need another drummer? I would love to be on the rotation. And he said, yes, we would love to have you, but I want you to do this first.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to keep coming here, and I want you to get involved.
Right.
And I want to see, I want to see your faith, basically.
Right.
I want to, because it takes a certain person to get up there and lead.
Oh, exactly.
Right. And I did not see that at first. I will admit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dang man, like just let me up there.
Yeah.
Come
This
on,
guy, bro.
come on.
I
And
mean-
yeah, exactly. I was like, this guy. But afterwards, I realized like, oh man, I see exactly why he was doing it now.
Right.
And honestly, I'm glad he gave me a little time to grow
Mhm.
because I think it gave me. I'm not saying I was immature in the faith, but
Mhm.
I mean, it gave me time to just grow a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I look back on it now, and I'm very thankful.
Oh yeah. Man, I was in. It's probably like my 6th or 7th year in sub. I guess I've been going here since I was 19. About 6 years or so. But I didn't start playing keys on stage till like at least 4 years in. Because even going there, from the
Dang,
beginning,
you've been playing. Wait, how long have you been
I've
playing?
been playing keys since my high school year, sophomore year of high school. So even when I first started going to sub, I played keys, but it wasn't like I never try to take anybody's spot. That's not my thing. But so I can
Yeah,
sit back and
yeah.
do that. Not saying you were trying to take somebody's spot or anything like that. I just know you.
No,
enjoyed that.
I just want to be on
So
rotation.
I was sitting back
Yeah.
for a long time just watching, the OG crew how they did, and I mean I loved it and everything. I mean I would go home, I'll practice the songs they did too, because they were doing a lot of like the passion and stuff and everything, stuff I wasn't hearing on a regular basis. So like
Yeah.
learning that, and then I think it wasn't until maybe around COVID or something like that I even mentioned to Tanner. It was like, hey, I'll be interested in keys. Again, they already had a key player there, but it was like maybe doubling up or something. And he kind of gave me the same thing. Come to a few sound checks. Just kind of see the faithfulness. And I think it wasn't another year until kind of like hit him again and was like, hey, Derrion, I can kind of help out. And when I came in there, so again, I think that's one of my favorite things about life. Not even to get into another topic, but like even like scout team becoming a GA with UAB was like I was there for 4 years before they even faithfully showing them not getting paid for nothing at practices, get my lips busted and stuff just for the love of the game.
Yeah.
Before they, hire me as a graduate assistant. I feel like a lot of people quit in the early stage. A lot of people aren't willing to go through the journey it takes and the consistency it is. And I mean, nothing worth having doesn't come without putting in the time for it. And in that time, again, it sucks and it's whatever, but it's like it shows your faithfulness, it shows your committedness to it, and it's never gonna fail. Like it's gonna come, but you just have to trust that. You know what I mean? But I feel like a lot of us just quit early in those journeys, and like you said, if
persistence pays off.
Right, exactly. If you'd have said, hey, I want to see your faithful, and you're like, bro, I ain't got time for that. I can play drums, cool. But you wouldn't have got to this point. You know what I mean? You don't know what would happen. But that's just a quick note. Just stay committed.
Yeah.
If you want something, just keep persistent at it.
Absolutely. Did you know that about him, by the way?
No.
The basketball thing?
No.
You didn't know that?
Yeah. A lot of people don't like to live Hannah Montana lives, but I kind of love it. Like, even at, I guess that point, basketball was my job, and then I would get off basketball and then get to be to worship Derrion. Where now it's like I'm still I'm a Christian first. I'm still proclaiming the life of Jesus first, and, wholeheartedly. But it's fun now because I get to be like 9 to 5, like IT Derrion, and then like worship Derrion outside of it.
Yeah.
And I have friends who they don't necessarily like that. They want to do like one full time, but and again, I would love to go worship full time. That'd be cool. But I do love that.
About to ask that.
Oh yeah.
You brought that up.
Oh yeah. No, that'd be the dream. Like I would love me. And I do think I'll make the jump eventually. Like I think it's like inevitable in a sense. But just wait for the Lord's that I don't want to move just to move for me. I want to move when it's the right decision, when it makes sense,
Right
and
place.
exactly right place, right church, and everything. But I do enjoy the Hannah Montana life right now. I mean, it's funny because people at my job, like I have like a little, so the office, as we know, it gets posted everywhere. It's like tonight's office or whatever.
I love that.
But there is a keyboard at my IT desk at work that I will practice on during the day, for like services at night and everything too. So like some people will walk by and be like, "Oh, you play keys?" And it's like, yeah, but I guess they don't understand the magnitude of what it is outside of work. Like there's many days I'll leave from the house at 6:30. I don't get home till like 9:30, and that's like just normal for me now. Maybe one day it slows down and I realize like, dang, we're moving. But again, it's the life we live in right now. I'm
I
loving
should
it.
set up a drum set at my office.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Yeah,
What's the difference between keys and just saying that you play the piano?
that's a very technical question because piano players I feel are more offended by that question. Than
I thought that
would
you were
be.
just gonna be like, it's the same thing. I was like, okay.
Well,
Right.
I mean, technically it is, but
there's a
Well,
technical
there-
because keyboard you can cheat more. That's where you get to, like your transpose things, and it's like
Yeah.
So
you-
piano's like all natural.
piano's where you tell
I
if they
mean-
really like
I mean,
that.
it's the original.
Which I love
you know,
now
like-
that I kind of can play a little bit more better and get it. But piano used to scare me before I was able to like do what I could do now. Like about 2020 is when I was able to really like dive in and like learn the instrument. But before that, piano would scare me because I could only play in like certain keys. So it was like keyboard was like the go-to, and you could do more things on the keyboard, obviously different sounds and everything. But piano is like, but it's I found more joy like you know being in the living room playing the piano because it's so pure and it just is what it is. Kind of like that's what I love about like acoustic guitar because it's just pure. Hey, you're playing your instrument type of deal. So that's kind of what the difference is
Yeah.
between the two. So I'll naturally I guess say I'm a keyboard player, but I'm not a pianist. I'm not classically trained or anything like that. But I do love piano. That's where that difference kind of lies.
Okay.
The way I always look at it is like, I don't know, if I just see somebody who is like classically trained
Mm-hmm.
and they play piano a lot more than they would keys.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, yeah, they play piano.
Mm-hmm.
But see, like, I see you playing keys like
Mhm.
all the time,
Mhm.
and so like just literally the physical difference.
Right.
To
yeah.
me is like
Yeah.
that's just the way I've always kind of discerned it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Sorry,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
that-
nothing
that's
about
that. No, it's
this.
all
good. No, you're good.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm not like trying to lead your podcast, but I want to get into questions like
No,
this,
hey, man.
specifically ask him.
I told you, you can take point today.
This is
I
my
got you.
podcast now.
Pass you the ball,
Oh,
coach. Pass you
okay.
the ball, coach.
It's the car
It
of
is.
life. No.
The car of life.
life.
Chris.
He did that. Uh-oh.
Mic, there goes the mic.
Oh, no.
We're having experiencing
Oh,
technical
no.
difficulties.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to drop the mic. Sorry, Austin, if that caused
Mic drop.
difficulties.
Oh, he probably hates you right now.
Yeah, he hates me. It's okay.
Okay, so, racism comes in, all colors, I guess. But in American history, okay, that's how does that.
That's very subjective.
That sounded racist. No, I'm sorry. So
We're not racist.
Not racist.
We are not racist. I promise. I
was-
promise.
I was trying
Yeah.
to say that anyone can be racist to anybody, no
Yeah.
matter the color.
Yeah.
But in American history, it's been predominantly like white on
Mhm.
black racism, right? So that bleeds into generations because
Mm-hmm.
the generations of people who were
Mhm.
extremely racist, they raise their sons,
Mhm.
and they,
Mhm.
it's just they kind of have those stereotypes growing up and,
Mhm.
and things like that. So they're dying back there.
I know.
So
I know JP was going crazy. back
anyway,
Yeah.
anyway, so as a black man, have
Mhm.
you ever experienced racism in the church? And if so, how do you deal with that?
then.
To begin with, kind of like you were saying that the generations pass, and I think it's important to also note that it isn't too far gone. Like my dad was born April 3rd, 1968. Literally that next day, April 4th, is when Martin Luther King got shot and like assassinated. So he's only 54, 55, whatever, like maybe 56. I'm sorry, but it's really cool to. It's not cool, but it's important to note that how. Even though it is a long time ago, we're a much better country now, but it isn't too far gone where America was like that and had to experience those stripes.
I feel like we're the first kind of generation that it's not.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're
people
at
aren't
least
dying,
2-3 generations
Yeah,
past
it's
it.
not-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But as far as personally, as your question stated, nobody's ever came up to me to my face and been like, "Hey, you're black. I don't like that," or something like that. But the first
I feel
time,
like a lot of people though, when they're being racist nowadays, it's
they're
behind
not gonna
their
say it to your
back,
face. Exactly.
You know,
But,
behind the screen.
In my small,
Yeah.
my hometown, which I love to death, like they know that's my family down there. But I got to speak at the small town home church one time, and this is my senior year in high school. I went to my first summer camp with the church and everything. And they called me in to speak. I'm probably the only black dude in the service. I maybe was. That's also another thing. Like I don't pay attention to as much. I guess I'm just so used to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it really doesn't just bother me in a sense.
Mhm.
So like I'm in that sense, and I spoke, and I think it was like on First Second Samuel. It was about David. That's my dog. Love David. And I didn't hear about this till a couple years later. But the youth pastor I actually played for. Now I can't be. We're giving too many details. We're in trouble. But it's name dropping. Like, I think the opposite of name dropping is also just giving out details about everybody's life where they can put it down.
you
I'm gonna
gotta
stop.
avoid
Right.
details.
But a youth pastor that I play for now was actually at that church at the time, and he let me know. It was like, after you did that, like, some people came up to him. It was like, why'd you let that black dude like speak in front of the congregation like that and stuff? So like crazy stuff like that. And again,
Dang.
for me, like, I don't know, one of my best traits and my worst trait as well is being able to see like the positive in every situation. Because sometimes that can keep me in bad situations longer than I should have, just because I'm always looking for the positive. So I mean, thankfully, and the Lord has been gracious to me and provided His peace and comfort, where none of that has ever gotten to me, as you would think it would, in a sense, or like it's like, dang, the world's really like that type of deal. I've just kind of always been able to, and I understand that that's there, very cognizant of it in a sense, but have just been able to just kind of be like, okay, cool, and just keep it moving. So definitely understanding that it's out there and everything, but haven't been in a situation or been placed in a place where it's been able to stop me or make me too discouraged where I just stop what I'm doing and stop my worship.
Okay, so that kind of leads into the next question that I kind of wrote down. So specifically when you go to talk or not perform, when you go to new places, right, and you're on stage, can that be leading? Can that be an intimidating thing when leading is knowing the possibility of someone in the crowd having those racial viewpoints? Or is it possibly motivating to go maybe be the light that changes that person's viewpoint? Or like, what's your mentality towards that? So like you said, you see the positive in it. Do you see it as kind of like an opportunity to maybe go change that person's mind? Or do you see the negative in it as, okay, well, this person is going to discredit what I'm doing because of something, so minuscule?
Not because also I'm gonna be me regardless. So it's like, I know my worship is true, and I'm gonna just proclaim the name of Jesus. And like, again, I think we spoke about before, if somebody already has their viewpoint about that, I'm already too late. Like, they already think that way. They're not even gonna give me the opportunity to be like, minister to them and change their mind. They're gonna stop at the color because that's what they're trained to do. That's what their mindset is.
They're very stubborn about that type
right,
of thing.
right, exactly. So I mean, and again, like we said, I've even tried, back in the high school days to figure that out and think, oh, you can beat that. Life's like a Disney movie, which sadly is not. So again, now at this point, I'm just understandable, and I'm like, okay, cool. But it's never been to change my mind in a sense. I like, I guess, especially with going into like churches where I know it's like predominantly white or something like that, and I go in, I'm like, because too, again, I don't like to stand out. So it's funny in those situations where, like, before the service, where I'm like away to myself, and I get to kind of like monitor church, and sometimes you get really welcoming churches where like, hey, how you doing? Glad to have you here. They have no clue I'm about to go up and play keys. Like, I'm literally about to like participate in the service, but they're so welcoming. And then other situations where they're kind of just looking like, okay, that's somebody new type of deal, and then going up to worship, and then after the fact, people come up and like, hey, yo, we appreciate you for coming and everything. So I guess that's more where I'm at, like it, where I'm kind of like monitoring the church beforehand, and like, okay, what's the kind of flow here? But yeah, I don't necessarily try to like change my mind, because I mean, I can't do that. That's for the Lord to do.
It's only something that Christ can do. That makes sense. You just, if you are a vessel that Christ can use to change someone's mind, all the glory to God, right?
Yeah.
So I guess just pray for those people.
All right. Absolutely. We can do it.
So how, is there any way that you have dealt with it in the past that may have been different than the way God calls us to do so now?
What you mean?
So have you ever like handled it wrong, perchance?
Racism?
Like, have you ever, like, I mean, instead of trying to be a light in the world or looking at it through love, like, they showed hate. Have you ever felt reciprocated to just do the same? Or
basically, can I take a shot? We're called to be the bigger person.
Yeah.
And even if they're being the most hateful person in the world towards you and saying, why is this black man here leading at our church? Have you ever handled a situation wrong because of the way they go at you? So instead of handling it as a you think what you want to think, I'll let God change your heart. Have you ever tried basically handling it yourself and in the wrong way?
I've never just went face to face with anybody about it, or like, I guess in the worship sense, I've never had the mindset I used to have in a sense. But definitely coming through high school, early college, I was always motivated by like, I want to prove people wrong. I want to stun on you. I want to show you who Derrion is, type of deal. And that was the way I moved. It was just like, in a sense, I was doing things for me, but it was more to be like, hey, I can do this.
Put a
Like,
chip on your shoulder.
right, exactly. But then again, it got to that point kind of through college, which was just, and it kind of left because again, not many people were saying things. It was like, dang, if I'm always trying to move out of hate or just motivation, what happens when it's not there? What are you doing? And that's, I mean, I was talking about this Thursday with some friends of like, you really have to flip it and move out of love and not even worry about people in a sense, because like if you're seeking your validation from people or that people hate type of deal, that's just the wrong way to move, and it's a burden that you're carrying for no reason. So really it's just, you know, moving out of love and then moving out of trying to be the best you can be and just battling yourself every day. And it's much more fulfilling. You're not carrying that burden of hate for no reason, because it's just not a nice way to live, always thinking you got to prove somebody wrong. Like, you know what I mean? It's cool because again, now I'm really more like, you gonna think what you gonna think. I mean, cool. I'm not in the game of persuasion anymore. You know, but it took a minute to get here and grow to that for sure.
So yeah, my next question was, you know, if yes, what did you do to help you change from the way you used to handle it to the way you handle it today? So I guess that would just, you know, boil down to you seeked for validation and you know, other people, and you kind of allowed them and what they may have said or thought about you, like kind of dictate who you are, but now you seek your validation in Christ.
Right.
And
Exactly.
and you listen to what Christ sees, who he says you are.
Right.
So to all the people out there, whether it's racism or not, you know, don't allow what other people say about you dictate what you believe in yourself. You know,
Right.
go to the
Or how
word.
you move.
Go to the word and be like, you know, what does God say?
Right.
Who does he say? You know, I am. What about me? You know, is him. So, yeah, that's good.
The word, and you know, I want to point that out. That's. I'm glad you said that. The word is not just like, the Bible is not just a book. That is the main way that God communicates with us. I mean, we have this whole book of him communicating with others, and through that, he's communicating with us. And so that's, I want to encourage everybody to, you know, read your Bible. Like,
For real.
I'm begging you.
For
there
real.
there has been so many times where I'll go in a drought of like not reading my Bible, and I can confidently say that every time I'm not reading my Bible, my life just seems to be terrible. Like, not terrible, but just not going right.
Right.
You know, not going in a positive direction, or
Because it's not.
exactly. And I'm just more anxious. I'm more stressed. I'm, you know, I don't have a lot of peace. But getting in the Word every single time, it's almost an immediate impact
Right.
too.
Right.
It helps. It helps so much. So get in the Word, and then on top of that, pray. I'm going through this book right now, and it is, it has this, what are they called? Like where there's a word, and each letter of the word means something. What is that called?
Acronym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a, no, it's not an acronym, is it?
All right.
Is it an acronym?
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways,
Okay, it's
yeah.
I'm not in the game of persuasion, y'all.
I'll look it up for you.
Is it-
Explain it and explain yourself. Talk to them, and I'll look it up for you.
It's definitely acronym.
Anyways, when you're,
I would
you know,
bet.
part of reading, part of your reading should be praying. That should be like that should be like the last step. You should read and study the Word. You should know what you're reading. You should, the analogy is, or not analogy, acronym. Are you sure it's
It's acronym, dog. Keep talking.
okay?
Are you trying to force yourself not to believe it's
No,
acronym?
wait. Oh, that's because. Oh, I'm so stupid. I was thinking anonym. Anyways,
Bro.
I was like, so I was thinking,
He Englished himself.
yeah, it's like synonym, anonym. Anyways,
Well,
yeah,
I understand.
English sucks.
Anonym is like the opposite.
Yes, I know.
I don't know. I don't know, bro.
That's just why I'm in engineering.
Where'd you graduate?
I haven't yet.
No, where did you graduate from in high school?
Oh, high school.
Hey, wait. What? Don't want to name drop, you know. But
Corner. I don't mind saying where I graduated from high school.
okay, I didn't want, you know.
Yeah, he reps that education, you know. Yes.
Yeah,
it's
I mean, I worked
it's a-
there.
Yeah, it's
Hey.
crappy education.
I don't mind a Yellow Jackets. It's a great school.
Yeah,
No.
go Jackets, baby. Round 2 of the playoffs next week. Just saying.
5A.
So, anyways, yeah, it's listen, and to be honest, I can't remember all of them.
I'm gonna say the words. The acronym is listen. That's
Yeah.
a lot. Yes.
Yeah, I can't
7
remember all
letters.
of them off the top of my head, but it has like a little layout.
Yeah.
And like
Definitely
one,
6.
I can't remember.
Definitely 6.
Yeah,
I took the
Where'd you
over.
graduate?
Right. OG baby. We lost in the playoffs yesterday.
really?
Yeah. They played Ashford.
Ashford.
I think it was like
we
35.
play
20.
Boaz next week. So
Okay.
They're not good.
Boaz? Everybody was saying that we're gonna have
They might
a
be good
tough
compared
time
to
beating
corner.
them. Okay. All right. Anyways, enough about high school football. All I was trying to say though is, on top of reading your Bible, you should be praying for application.
That's good.
All right, I'm gonna keep.
Yeah, all that
attacking
to
you.
say, praying for 3 words.
Praying for application.
So you just yeah.
PFA.
Yeah,
That's the acronym.
PFA. No, that's not the one I
Okay.
was talking about. But no. Hey,
PFA, baby.
PFA. That's the new one.
Pray for application.
Pray for application. Anyways, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna keep personally attacking you.
Good.
Attacking.
Not really attacking.
Hey,
It's just
bro.
kind of like picking them apart. Your
I
your
love
brain,
that.
I guess, is what I'm
Yeah,
trying to say. So you said you're 25, right?
Indeed.
Okay, so usually, usually people find their partner and
Yeah.
are either close to or already married
Why
by
you gotta
that
laugh
age.
like that before you
Because
ask
it's
that
fun-
question?
it's
Come on,
funny.
man.
Some good stuff, baby.
Hey, sorry.
Some good stuff.
Just wait until we get Ike on name drop, but you know.
Oh my God! No way. Okay.
That's not even about me. That's why other
Question.
people.
That's the question.
Oh,
As a man who is 25
Yeah.
and has the desire to be married one
Uh-huh.
day, but still single,
yeah.
can that be discouraging in any way?
I mean, that's a good Derrion question because, I mean, the close ones, though, that's the biggest Derrion thing. And everybody has their own struggle in life. Whereas is it money, job, family type of deal. Mine has always been relationships. So it's just been a fun thing. Even when in a relationship, it's always been a relationship that's still a thing. And I mean, I'm grateful for my life and whatever it is. It's like, cool, if that's my struggle, bet. But, I mean, I guess it's anybody that you'll get married. I've always been like I don't want to say hopeless romantic because there's hope. But the lover boy type of dude, like I've always been into that type of stuff. Chris like trying to hold it in. He's like, yeah, bro, I feel you.
You like
Feel you, man.
romance?
Yeah. That's been my
No,
thing.
I was
But,
laughing
The
at
same way?
The hope part. Sorry.
He said, "Is there hope?" But
Yeah, y'all hear this,
where's it going
ladies?
at? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Anyways,
That was
But,
bad. Continue. We gotta cut.
Exactly.
Two.
Redo it. But I mean, my plan, I guess about 22, 23 was like, dang, I really want to get married. That's what I'm ready, Lord. Give it to me. Cool. And obviously that didn't happen. So like, I never held the pen to begin with, but now I really don't hold the pen. So I'm really like freestyling. Like the Lord knows like what I want. I want marriage. I want kids. I want that familial kind of deal. Like that's my heart for real. You know, even more than music in a sense. Like, not saying I would give up music for a family, but I mean it's like right there. Like that's how much I want it for real. And I mean back then I guess it was a struggle. It was like, hey, Lord, I really want this. You know, why aren't you giving it to me? I'm ready. But now it's like I'm really just following the Lord's plan. And like again, because my timeline's broke, so it's like there's no reason trying to make another timeline. Like it's like I'm on the Lord's time. I trust Him. I mean, I know that He'll provide. I mean, that's been my favorite song all year, y'all. The Lord will provide.
oh, same.
That's song of the
Like,
year
actually,
for sure.
I love that song.
For
bro.
sure. But just trusting in Him. And has it been I mean, definitely I guess discouraging at times, but then again I have to also remind myself, it's like I'm telling the Lord that I'm ready. But am I? Like maybe I'm not ready.
I was about to
and
ask
again,
that.
so
like,
right, yeah.
I mean, you think, you know,
And again,
in your own sense, you're like, yeah, I'm ready. Come on, Lord. I'm 25.
Oh, no.
I'm leading worship all over the place. I'm living my life for you.
But-
you know, send me a woman. That's where the problem is. It's
Right.
like, you know, and so, it can be hard
yeah.
saying like, well, Lord, if you say I'm not ready, then I guess I'm not ready.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Like,
and
no
me
matter-
looking at 23-year-old Derrion is like you weren't ready. I mean, I'm just saying I'm ready now, but again, only the Lord knows when it's
Yeah.
truly. And I'm accepting. I'm more. I guess I rest in that more. I can't find
Yeah.
a word I want to use,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, you're gonna look back in 27-year-old you. It's gonna be like 25-year-old Derrion is not ready. You know,
I
like
hope it's,
I mean,
you're gonna see. You're gonna see exactly.
I didn't mean like you were gonna
Yeah,
be single.
yeah,
or you're gonna
yeah.
be single.
Yeah. Lord knows. Just rested in Him.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But
yeah. I mean, we're the same age. We're both 22.
and I hope y'all find it. Like I hope y'all don't go through the Derrion of character development, because
no offense, but I don't either. I hope,
this
I
junk
hope not.
this junk crazy. And again, I'm thankful I'm more open about it now, because back in the day I used to hold a lot of things in and don't talk to anybody about it.
Yeah.
But like, so in my sense, what I thought was normal was very far. Like I have a lot of exception stories in my storybook, so it's cool to like talk to people now and like express that, and they're like, nah, Derrion, that's whack. That's not that's not a usual thing. I'm like, okay, cool. So that's calmed me about it, made me more sane.
Yeah.
Can I give you some fun facts
Yeah,
that'll
yeah.
make you feel a little bit better?
Yeah.
So, in America, 26 is considered very early for men to get married.
Right. Right.
28 to 32 is the average for men.
Mm-hmm.
And the
And
men
this is
who,
this is present day though, right?
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And the men who get married in this age range have the lowest chance of divorce. For Christian men, the research that I could find was that
Mhm.
it dropped to around 26 to 30 being the optimal and most frequent time. So it only drops around 2 years for men between like Christians and just like your average
Mhm.
man in America. And then, but for women, the average is about 28 for
Mhm.
non-Christians, and it's 23 to 25 for Christians. So there's like an average of 4-year drop for women as compared to 2 for men.
And right. Like, and I
So-
think too, the small town pressure and like Southern Baptist pressure is what rushes that timeline. Because again, like you said, if you Northern or like just
You're
the worldly
most likely
standard,
not gonna marry somebody from your small town that you grew up in.
who
I
me
s-
now?
No.
Oh.
In general,
Anybody.
I said
Oh,
in
yeah,
general.
yeah.
Like you're not gonna.
Right.
A lot of times.
But that pressure to marry you, because all your like, I'm telling you,
Exactly.
a good 87 to 90% of my high school class now was either married or have a kid. So it's like looking back on that, you would feel that pressure of like, dang, I'm behind.
Mhm.
But again, you look at stats like that, it's like, dog, you really still kind of early.
Mm.
So, you know,
I mean,
Yeah.
I can flex real quick and,
Yeah.
and be like, my girl.
hey.
Sorry, she's from Georgia.
And we celebrate other people's wins. Like, that's a big thing, too. In your waiting stage, in your season, celebrate your friends who, like, hey, I mean, I've gone to a couple weddings by myself this year, and I can't make it to the reception. So I'm sorry for the people that I've gone to. I'm going to leave after the wedding because I could do a lot of things alone, but a reception is not one.
Yeah.
I'm going to cry. I'm going to let you know I'm going to cry. So I'm going to get out before the tears come.
I'm
But,
gonna
hey,
support
love
you
to
at
you.
your wedding,
Wins.
but the
Yeah.
reception you ain't gonna see.
I
me there.
can't. I
ain't
can't.
gonna be
Mm-mm.
there.
And I can't just take a +1 to be a +1. Like, you got to be my girl. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not that type of dude.
Yes, I
Mhm.
kind of agree with that.
Mhm.
Well, the girl that I'm with is from Georgia, so
Mhm.
that's a whole state away.
Mhm.
So just to talk about the small town instant, like,
Yeah. I do want to bring something
Mhm.
back up though. So you said that it may not be that like you're not ready,
Mhm.
but it may be that God still has a lot more in store for you before you get married.
Right.
So he may be saying right now, like and God only knows, like,
Mm-hmm.
you're ready,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not ready for you to be married.
Yeah.
He's wanting to accomplish more with you and your singleness right now.
I mean, I've had people talk to me about that too. Because again, I'm playing somewhere every night, and again, I wouldn't know how it would
Yeah.
look with a girl. And then people have asked me because it was
How
funny
would it look with a girl?
earlier this year. Because I was talking to somebody about auto service and shit. She was like, "So obviously you're single." I said, "I actually wasn't at that time," but I was like, "No, I have a girlfriend." But she was just kind of like, "So when does it like slow down in a sense?" And I'm like, "I don't know." But again, even though that didn't work out, RIP. Is what it is, but I can get it because again, it's hard. Like I'm literally free throughout the week, maybe twice. You may have, I guess,
Yeah.
in this season, right? Because I'm doing rehearsals on Tuesday nights right now. So like
Okay.
these past few weeks, Monday and Friday have been like my only free nights throughout the 5-day week set. You know what I mean? Usually that Monday, Tuesday, Friday type of deal. And again, for the relationship, and I want that relationship where you're like with your person every day type of deal. Like a normal relationship should be. I ain't been able to experience that. Shout out to the people who can. Hey, that's dope. But again. And that's part on me because, like you said, my schedule doesn't allow for that myself. So, given if they have other things going on too, so like you said, it's just
Yeah.
maybe I have to go through certain things. But also, what hurts with that is like, Lord, I'm kind of over it now because at first I was like, dang, I'm doing all these amazing things now. When I get my person, I ain't gonna have nothing to, you know what I mean? I've done all my things. I just got to tell him stories. But like, I trust him that like, hey. I'm in this for a reason, and then when I get my person, I will be able to like experience things with them. But I think that's the part that's most discouraging. The most, I guess, is that I want them to be here to experience all this with me. But I guess, and I hope that when I do get the person, I will get to experience a lot of amazing things with them as well,
Yeah,
and not just
absolutely.
have to tell them all what happened.
Yeah.
Be the has-been stories. Back in my day, I used to, you know what I mean, play services every night. I know I'm at home now, but it'll be fun.
So with a girl, like,
Mhm.
how much like do you think that'll slow down a lot? Like, you found your future wife.
Mhm.
Like, how much is going around and doing all that you do now? How much
Yeah.
is that going to slow down?
I think that's when the full-time worship thing would kind of like become more prominent, given the Lord provides the opportunity or something like that. But I think, because I
Okay.
play at 3 churches on a weekly basis, plus like your one-offs. So I can easily play it like not easily like oh he's just that good, but like it's happened
But
before
you are.
where I can get like a 4 church a week type of deal, and that's kind of what the lady was like referring to was like you're at a different place. So I think that when a girl or wife kind of comes in the family thing, it'll be more centric to one church where like we're spending our time rather than me just driving all around town and everything. But I mean, Ashley Cook has a song, a country artist, a song called "State I'm In," and she kind of talks about that going from city to city where she's not able to have like that relationship because she's always on the go, and she's just like, I want to have that relationship where like we can hang out every day and everything, but I'm just not the state I'm in. That's also dope. I love country punchlines. That's my thing. I love to see how you can get to the
I remember
punchline.
talking to you about that.
Yeah. That's a thing I love. But I kind of just that's a song I look to. I'm like, dang, I'm not at the point where I'm slowing down yet. But again, it's not something that I'm like, no, I need to be out here every night, honey. It's just what it is.
Yeah. Real quick, what's your next question?
It's actually just kind of Bible verses about this situation.
Okay. I had another question. Go ahead and read those, and I'll come up with my question again.
Alrighty. As far as trusting in the Lord and His timing, this is just a little spot where people doubted God, and I'm talking about Abraham and Sarah here, and having Isaac, because they had them in what it's like 100 years old,
right?
Whenever they had him. So if I can look up the verses real quick,
and even background on that, not want to mess it up and be in my own timing, because Sarah got discouraged and told Abraham to have the child with the handmaid, and then got mad when the child came out, which is a whole nother thing. That just goes to a lot of things. Yeah. But it's just like when we try to act in our own time, it's still not the right child. Like even he had the child, and God was like, "That's cool. That's not the one I have for you." So again, I don't want to get in that situation either, where I'm trying to force something, and then he's like, "That's not it." Because I'm definitely not trying to rush into it, get divorced, and then be that kind of situation.
Real quick before we hop into scripture, I remember what I was going to ask.
Yeah, you can find the description.
So, well, at least he'll have it pulled up now, ready to go. So we talked about this the other day, the heck yeah rule.
Heck yeah rule, baby.
I want you to explain it.
Yeah.
And I want you to explain why.
Yeah.
You have this rule, and I'm gonna start going by this rule because it's a sick rule.
I think the heck yeah rule just helps with commitment and narrowing down choices, because I feel too as dudes, we have our prospect list, and we'll talk to girls and be like, hey, I like this one, but we're gonna go in a couple of days and I'm gonna figure it out. And two, a lot of people, I mean, especially my friends who are girls, know, like I have hearts for them, and I hate to see women done bad and done wrong and led astray by dudes and everything. So I definitely don't want to put myself in a position where I'm doing that myself. And that's kind of where the heck yeah rule came into play, is that so like typically nowadays, like I won't even really talk to a girl, or definitely not shooting my shot unless I'm like 100% sure, and like not even 100%. The heck yeah rule is a 110% sure thing, of where you're like, I really do, not saying you're gonna marry the girl tomorrow, but just saying, if I do shoot this shot, I would date her. I want to pursue something with her, not just to have just a moment in time, or just because you're alone and you're afraid. And again, it sucks. There's a lot of silence, with the heck yeah rule, because this is like, oh, she's cute, cool, whatever. But that's not. I don't feel. Not saying it's the one the Lord wants for you or anything like that. But you're not fully into it. And I don't think it's right to try to talk to somebody if you're not fully into it.
And it doesn't have to necessarily be something that you don't like about them, like a red flag or whatever.
It can be perfect.
But it
just
could
not
just
for
be
you.
a feeling. Or, it could be like I'm just not feeling it. Like, and that feeling comes from praying about it and asking God, like, hey, do you want me to pursue?
And not saying every day would be great, because love is, is not a feeling or a motivation, it's a choice. So not saying every day you're gonna feel, especially when you get to the dating thing, that you're gonna feel like heck yeah, or like, oh, I feel like I love this person. Once you get to that point, it's a choice. You're choosing to love that person. That's where that's shown. But just the initial stages of commitment and really pursuing somebody, rather than just taking out 10 girls and just seeing where it goes, really just narrowing down your choices, and that'll kind of help you in that early stage of it.
Absolutely. I also think like the heck yeah rule, like looking at a girl and saying, would I date her? If you don't say heck yeah, like, then you shouldn't, right? And so I think it also helps.
And a maybe is also not a heck yeah. So when you're like, that's not heck yeah, so move on.
Yeah. He said straight to the point. But so I think it would also help when with like discerning whether you may be like a little desperate or not. You know,
Right.
because there are times, you know, I mean, I've been, you know, I've had stages of life where I guess, considered a little desperate, where I'm like, oh, you know, I wish I had a girlfriend. You know, desperate doesn't have to mean anything extreme. It just has to mean, you know, it can be as simple as, oh, well, I really want a girlfriend.
Yeah.
I really need one right now. Like,
Right.
I think you know, but then it goes back to it's God's timing, it's not your timing. And so I think the heck yeah rule is a great one, because I think if you're actually praying and, you know, praying about it and praying about who you should pursue, and if somebody comes in your life and you're praying about it and God is clearly telling you to pursue them, then it's going to be a heck yeah. But if he's telling you no, then it's not going to be a heck yeah.
Right. And you'll know. Even
Oh,
when you
yeah.
don't want to admit it, like, you know, Chris in
Yeah.
some instances, he knew it was a heck yeah. He just didn't want to.
He didn't want to admit it.
You know, there was a little pride in a
No
way.
way we're cooking me on the podcast.
Yeah,
dog.
I just want to
Right.
make this clear to everyone.
Right.
Yes, Austin. Oh man.
Right. You see, that's a heck yeah blush
Look at
right
it.
there.
Look at
Hey,
them
camera
rosy
needs
cheeks.
put the camera on them real quick.
Look at
all
the
right?
rosy
Yeah,
cheeks.
all right,
Yeah.
bro.
I just want to say we were at dinner earlier, and this man, we were talking about the heck yeah rule, and this man Chris over here was like, well, the girl I'm seeing now wasn't a heck
careful.
yeah,
Be careful.
and
It
I
wasn't.
would-
I was losing the lead.
and I'm just saying, yes, it was. He just doesn't want to admit it.
It was. Definitely was.
It definitely was.
I mean, to be fair, right? Like,
Don't try to argue. with
no,
me,
no, no,
man.
no, 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 no. Let me speak. Let me speak. All right. Can I speak?
No, yeah.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Okay. All right. So to be fair, I was being like super cautious. Like
He was.
I was giving every single excuse as to why this, you know, this isn't right. You know, and every single one of them was either check marked off by, you know, her being an amazing woman, or God. Oh goodness gracious. Or God, you know, kind of revealing to me why I was wrong, I guess, is what I would say.
Yeah.
So,
And that's a good sign too, boys.
Yeah.
Err on the side of caution, please. Please, nothing
yeah, I was
hurts
cautious.
my heart more than hearing a girl come up to me and be like, yo, Derrion, this happened. This dude did this. Like, that pains me. And us
Yeah.
dudes, let's be better. Not saying us all. There's good men out here. Not all men are bad and whatever, or dogs and all that junk. But, guys, let's try to set an example to do right by women and not put them in these circumstances where they feel like all dudes are bad.
Well, even as friends, like treat them
Right.
right, you know.
Right,
and love them and
exactly.
Well,
respect
and
them.
you
Right.
want you want to show your girlfriends that, like, not girlfriend as in
Right,
together,
right.
but friends that are girls.
What a good dude
we
looks
should
like.
be showing them what
Yeah,
a good dude looks
yeah.
like. That's how we can lead, right?
You know, being discouraged with God's timing.
Yeah.
I will just read off
Mhm.
the simple, you know, birth of Isaac
Mhm.
in Genesis. So here it is, Isaac's birth's promise. So, you know, Sarai is now Sarah or whatever. So in 16 it says, I will bless her, and moreover, I will give you a son by her. I will bless her, and she shall become nations. Kings of people shall come from her. Then Abraham fell on his face and laughed and said to himself, shall a child be born to a man who is 100 years old? Shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bear a child? And Abraham said to God, oh, that Ishmael might live before you. God said, no, but Sarah your wife shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him as an everlasting covenant for his offspring after him.
Mhm.
So then you fast forward just a chapter to Genesis 18, and I believe it is 10. I just clicked on Genesis 8 because I'm intelligent. 10 through 14, and it says, the Lord said, I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah your wife shall have a son. And Sarah was listening at the tent door behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, advanced in years. The way of woman had ceased to be with Sarah. So Sarah laughed to herself, saying, after I am worn out and my Lord is old, shall I have pleasure? The Lord said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh and say, shall I indeed bear a child, now that I am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the appointed time I will return to you, about this time next year, and Sarah shall have a son. So again, it's just, you know, God's promise, right? God's promise to them, and they're doubting because they've wanted a child at the time at which they thought they would be able to get one, but now that Sarah's so old, you know, you understand their doubts as humans, right?
Exactly.
But so then, just Genesis 21, you know, the birth of Isaac.
Mhm.
The Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did to Sarah as he had promised. And Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age at the time of which God had spoken to him. Abraham called the name of his son who was born to him, who Sarah bore him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him.
Oh.
And Sarah said, God has made laughter for me. Everyone who hears will laugh over me. And she said, Who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age. So just to think, that we can depend on God, and what God has for us, it will not pass by us, and that at an appointed time, God will give us those things, And I'm not saying like He's going to give you everything you desire, right?
Right.
Because honestly, if He gave us everything that we desired, where would we be?
Right.
Like there's terrible things that I've desired at one point, or wrong things I've desired that would have led me down the wrong path, or would not have been as fulfilling as I am now in my life. If I'd gotten everything I ever wanted, I probably would have never been on this podcast, would have never been at GFBC, would have never gotten to be friends with y'all. So God gives us, things in that are going to glorify His kingdom. So one of those things is most people are not going to live a life like Paul of singleness.
Yeah.
So know that your person is most likely out there, and if it's not, that's because God has a better plan for you.
Right.
That goes beyond you having a wife and family.
Right.
And to think like, for most people, the end game on earth is to have a beautiful wife and beautiful children and a loving family, right? But if God has a life for you that goes beyond that,
right?
That's
that.
singleness. That is like, that's awesome, like to have a life like Paul,
and it's gonna fulfill that void too. Like He's not just gonna let that just sit there. You know what I mean? He's gonna give you something that So
and it's one of those things like you'll know,
right?
And it's not gonna be one of those things where you'll know but you're upset about it. It's gonna be one of those things where and you're at peace with it, and you're at peace with the fact that God is calling you to a life of singleness and that He has a much bigger plan for you.
Not saying if you're single you're called to a life of singleness.
I'm saying I hope that wasn't I didn't get that
definitely
call. I'm not sure if I missed it, but
I'm not getting that call, but I surely am single.
I didn't get that one. But I mean, again, to not even be funny, but a verse that I do look to through the season, through the waiting, is I looked it up again, but Galatians 6:9. And it says, "Let us not grow weary in our well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not." And again, that talks about the consistency that we've had, through our journeys in life, getting to certain places in a sense. And I've learned in the fruits of the Spirit, in the King James Version, it says long suffering, and a lot of translations now it says patience. But so I grew up thinking long suffering. Again, it is one, but a lot of people don't say it as that. And I understand why, because it's weird to think that being able to suffer long is a fruit. But that's really cool. I'm gonna get patience. But it's really cool that the Lord is saying like, hey, if you're doing this, you're exhibiting that fruit. So in that, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep following the Lord. Keep trusting in Him, and don't faint not. And for me, like I'm a play the game. Like, hey, I'm 25 now. It's too late to turn around and be like, oh, I'm gonna do my own thing. I mean, it's not too late for me. It's 25. 25 is young. But in my sense, it's like it's too late to turn around now. Like I've gone this far trusting the Lord. Why am I gonna turn around now and try to do my own thing? Like I'm this far in the game. Like
absolutely.
I'm gonna see it through now.
when Jesus turned around and looked at the disciples after feeding the 5,000, and everyone walked away because Jesus was like, "Oh, you just want a free meal," and he was like, he looked at him, he was like, "Y'all are gonna leave me too?" And Peter was like, "Where else am I gonna go, Lord?"
That's it.
Like, in modern day language, Peter was like, "God, I'm cooked. Like without you, like
right, bro, I ain't gonna real.
I'm staying right here with you,
exactly.
Lord.
Yeah,
that's good. Well, I think that kind of wraps up what we had for today, and with
Good
Derrion.
Good stuff.
Thank you
Yes,
for
sir.
being on here with
It's been a
us,
pleasure.
bro. It's definitely been a pleasure. Some great conversations, funny conversations.
That's good.
We'll definitely have you back
I
for
appreciate
sure.
that, bro.
Oh yeah. So
You're
he'll
right
be
back.
back. But that's it for today. And just like,
no, it's not. Give him some gospel, son.
yeah, I'm getting there.
My bet.
Yeah.
I'll shut up.
Yeah, stay in your lane. Hey, I let you run point. Let me share the gospel.
What do you mean stay in my lane? It's
Let-
podcast now.
Let me share some gospel with y'all. So this is actually something that I kind of grew up on. My youth pastor, when I was in, I'm pretty sure it was Rise. I got in the youth 7th grade. There was this card, and it was just called like the gospel card, and it was a very simplified version of the gospel, and it had 4 points that were just really good for looking at the gospel and just trying to understand it
Mm-hmm.
and understand what that is. And so there's actually an app. It's not a sponsorship or anything, but it's just called the Gospel app.
Yeah.
I encourage y'all to like look that up. It's really cool, very simple. It's got different tracks. It's got like English adult track, English children track, Spanish adult track. It's got several different languages. It has the Bible in the app as well. And so it's a really cool app, and it's really cool for just understanding the gospel. And so I'm going to read the English adult track. And so the first thing is understanding the character of God. That God is creator, God is just, God is righteous, and God is gracious. Second is the condition of man. Man is rebelled against God. Man is under the wrath of God. Man is separated from God, and man is hopeless without God. And then third, the redemption of Christ. Jesus' life satisfied the law of God. Jesus is fully God. Jesus is fully man. Jesus' death satisfied the wrath of God. And Jesus' resurrection reconciled man with God. And then 4 is the response of man, testifying to Jews and also to Greeks repentance toward God and faith toward our Lord Jesus Christ. Acts 20:21. Biblical repentance, biblical faith. Your eternal destiny hinges on a biblical response to the gospel. And so those 4 things, the character of God, the condition of man, the redemption of Christ, the response of man, those are 4 easy steps to understanding the gospel and how you can become saved. And so I want to encourage everybody to look that up. The gospel, it's just called the Gospel app, and it's literally going to be, there's these like 4 icons. There's a purple square with a crown, a black square with a man in it, and a green square with like a U-turn sign, and then a red square with the cross. Really, really cool app, and a great way to kind of explain the gospel and kind of understand it. And I've always turned to that when I'm sharing the gospel with others. And it's, since it's an app, quick response, right? If you're running into somebody, on the sidewalk or whatever, I've actually used it at UAB before. I pulled it out and like, well, I'm glad you asked. And it was the gospel app. Helped me a lot in explaining that. So yeah. So now that's pretty much a wrap up, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for tuning in to my podcast today.
Oh, well. All right.
We have some special guests next week. Sorry.
This guy. Remember, we're going to start leaving prayer requests in the comments. Please, please, everybody do that. Drop your prayer requests in the comments. Everybody. And if somebody has not been responded to, please respond to them. All right? I don't think we've gotten any comments on the last video. So
we did. You just didn't look at it.
Oh, we did?
We got
we got one.
We got one person.
Well, that was my mom.
Yeah.
Love you, Mom.
Golly.
But no, I want everybody. And I realize this is lame. And honestly, probably a lot of people are not even watching the podcast all the way through. But that's okay.
It's not lame. It's just people don't want to be the first person to
No,
comment.
it's not lame. Sorry. That was a bad word to use.
Bad word.
I'm just saying, but please, if you've watched all the way to the end of the video, please drop your prayer request. The whole lame thing, that was a joke. We want to see your prayer requests, and we want to be praying for you, and we want to build a community through this podcast. So please drop your prayer request, and if one has not been responded to, please respond to it. And with that being said, that is it for today. We'll see y'all next time. We got 2 more guests next week. Have fun today. Thanks, Derrion. Thanks you again.
Appreciate it for having me.
So yeah, all right. Peace. Love y'all.
Yes, sir.
Easy, but trust when I say that you got. I know you've been looking for a breakthrough, trying our best to make do. Every day is something new, but change gon' come. Oh yes, it's true. Brighter days are straight ahead. Follow me, won't be misled. Just look up, don't hang your head, and we'll get to the promised land. Somebody loves you, please don't forget such. Take your time, no need to feel rushed. We gon' shine somehow one day. Word to O'Shea, today's been a good day. Don't let one bad apple spoil the tree. The fruits of our labor seem ripe, can't you see? A little insight so they'll never leave you.